Hi, welcome to our seventh session. And today we have it may sound a little bit funny, but let's go. I don't think it's funny, but I think let's see how it's going to go. Today we're talking about breaking the stigma of therapy. And the reason why I said it may not be funny is because we use the word stigma. Maybe if we said myth, maybe it would have been listening. But therapy as a strength and not a taboo. Now, there's a there's a series I watched called Blue Therapy, and it's basically a series where people get to um, couples, intending couples, and actual couples tend to get marital advice where they come to say their views and, of course, get advice after that. And some men that showed up there, a particular guy that stood out to me was the one who said, men don't do therapy, men provide. Men, like, why would a man come and sit down and be exchanging um exchanging words with his spouse in front of a random stranger, right? So first of all, you need to understand that therapy is not all about argument. It's not all about saying everything out there, right? And this is even a personal therapy, but let's go right into it. Let's go right into it. I'm going to start this conversation with a question. If your car develops a serious fault, what do you do? I'm guessing you'll find someone who understands cars. If your phone stops working, you'll find someone who understands phones, right? But when your mind is overwhelmed, your emotions are tangled, your life becomes difficult to navigate, and many people just suddenly believe that they have to figure it out alone. The question now is why? Because if you look at this very well, some of these people that are working as therapists today, they have been trained on psychology. They have been trained. Most of them have degrees on this thing. So they understand how the human mind works. That's why even I, as a person, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a therapist, but there are questions I will ask somebody, and the person will, about themselves, so not even about somebody else, about themselves, and they will tell you, I never really thought about it that way. And you see, then think more about someone who has now been trained to do that. All right. Somewhere along the line, we have been taught that asking for help means that something is wrong with us. But that is simply not true. That's simply not true. If your car is faulty, that doesn't mean that the car is totally bad. In fact, you could drive a faulty car, travel with it, and come back, and it will still serve its job without any hindrance. It's not going to leave you on the road. But that does not take away the fact that the car has certain faults in different areas. All right, let's talk about point number one. Therapy is a tool, it's not a label. So one of the biggest misconceptions about therapy is that it's only for people in crisis. That's like saying you should only visit a doctor when you are at your worst, when you are very sick. But now there are medical advices that we keep hearing every day, advising people to go for routine checkups. You're feeling fine, you're okay. In fact, yesterday you carried 90 kg, but go for a routine checkup. Right? A structured conversation with someone trained to help you understand your thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and challenges. Therapy is a tool. It doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you are broken. It doesn't mean you have failed. Sometimes it simply means that you are taking your mental and emotional well-being seriously. Right? I hope this one already helps. Let's go to the second point. Strength includes knowing when you need support. You see, one of the ways you know that somebody knows how to maintain a car is the ability to decide when to go to the mechanic. You know, I'm not saying this to boast or anything, but there are people who have, in fact, let me not even use myself so that they will not say, hey, it's boasting. But there are people who have driven cars for a very long time. And I'm not saying months, I'm saying years. And that car has never left them on the road. Like, led them to be stranded on the road because the car suddenly spoiled or something. Not because that car has never spoiled during the usage, but because this person has taken out time to prioritize the maintenance of this car to the extent that the car rarely spoils by surprise. The owner is very aware. And so that is the same thing. Knowing when to look for support is also as important as the support you're about to receive. You know, the strongest athletes have coaches. Even Mike Tyson, that at some point they said one of his punches is as heavy or has the same impact as though they hit you a weight of 50 kg. He has a coach. He's not boxing anymore. I know he did a boxing match recently, but I don't know if it was a professional boxing match. You know, they have coaches. The best companies have advisors. The best leaders have mentors. Why should mental and emotional health be any different? Seeking guidance is not weakness, it's maturity. It's recognizing that growth often happens faster when someone sees what you can't see. So please, getting a therapist is like getting a mechanic for your car. All right? Now, therapy doesn't replace faith, family, or friendship. It does not. It's like you're not feeling fine and you're asked to take paracetamol, but sleep afterwards. If you take that paracetamol and keep running around instead of going to sleep, the paracetamol that you're taking does not replace the fact that you need to rest. And so therapy itself is not there to replace the existing structures in your life. It's there to work hand in hand with them. All right? So those things, family, friends, community, they are valuable, right? They are valuable. In many cases, they work together. I've said it. I've just said it right now. A trusted friend can encourage you. A mentor can guide you. Your faith can strengthen you. A trained professional can help you navigate specific mental and emotional challenges. They just served you breakfast and you're feeling down. Go to a therapist. You know, these days, many of us, we have turned our pastors to therapists, which is okay if your pastor is therapeutically sound. But if you can access a proper therapist, please do so. There are different tools that serve different purposes. Please, you don't have to choose one and reject all of them. That you are a Christian does not mean you should not go to the hospital. That you're a Christian, no, that's why God encourages a balanced life. He encourages a balanced life. He encourages a balanced life. So please, don't do one so well and then ignore other areas of your life. All right, let's fly a little bit. So let's reflect on this. We'll read this together if you want, but I'll read it and then you can just watch me read as you've been watching me all along. One thing I've learned is that many people suffer in silence because they are afraid of what other people will think. Not because help isn't available, but because stigma is powerful. People fear being judged, misunderstood, or labeled, but there's nothing admirable about struggling unnecessarily when support is available. You know, there's this thing people do feel like I don't know how to even explain it, but there's nothing joyful about that. That there's a solution out there, but you decide to go with the crude method. You decide to suffer and then feel like people are going to say, oh, that guy is very diligent, or there's nothing great about that. Growth requires humility, and humility often begins with admitting, number one, that I don't have all the answers. It also, I didn't write that, but I'll add that. It also includes knowing when you need help. All right? So, I challenge you this week. Ask yourself the following questions. Number one, what do I really think about therapy? Number two, are those beliefs based on facts or stereotypes? Men don't go for therapy. Are they facts or is it just a stereotype? Men don't take parfait. I heard that one recently. I was like, hey, whoa, sorry. If I were struggling emotionally, would I feel comfortable asking for help? And of course, the last question you need to ask yourself is, if a friend sought professional support, would I see that as weakness or wisdom? Be honest. Be honest. All right. Sometimes changing the mindset is the first step towards helping others and helping ourselves. I'll close this way. You don't get extra points for carrying everybody alone. Number one. Number two, you become stronger by ignoring. You don't become stronger by ignoring what needs attention. And number three, sometimes strength looks like speaking up. Sometimes strength looks like reaching out. And other times, strength looks like accepting help. So, know this. Strong men don't know everything. Strong men know when to learn and when to lean on others and when to seek help. Thank you for staying up to this point. This is the 7th session. Remember, the topic was breaking the stigma of therapy. See you in the next session. Make sure you don't go, because now, as we are getting towards the end, we are kind of attacking topics that summarize everything we have said so far. All right? There are still very important sessions ahead. See you in the next session.